Today we're talking about hair. I've been practicing some so I could bring useful tips, and I'm gonna share things that I do that help me drawing hair. So first, let's talk about structure. Hair structure comes in three main types. The straight hair or wavy hair. It's the hair that feels more like a ribbon. There is afro hair. Afro hair behaves more like a bush or something like this, and there is curly hair. These at least are the ways that I separate them, and the curly hair is like a mixture of those two. It kind of flows, but it also has this bushy quality to it, but with curves, and each of them behave in a specific way. Straight hair, let's say this is a point where they hang from, they are more malleable and they are less resistant to gravity, so they tend to just fall. Afro hair, on the other hand, it is more resistant to gravity, so it would be something like this. It doesn't fall just because of gravity, while curly hair feels more like a mixture of both. It is half resistant, half flowy, and when you draw it, they create different sensations. Let's make an example using ponytails. Let's have here three heads. So let's say those three heads, they have the same hairstyle, so they all have a ponytail style here. I'll just copy this. So following this idea of structures, let's have it here so we can remember. The straight hair is more malleable and it's less resistant. When you draw it, what you think about is the moment they go away from this point of pressure, they will fall. The afro hair, on the other side, it will just fight in every direction, while the curly hair will be some middle term where it's kind of will fight but kind of will accept its fate. So following this logic here, we can just draw a simple blockout that serves as a reference for how the hair will behave. Let's make it shorter so we have some space for the afro hair. Here we put some afro hair blockout. I feel like it should be more close to the head, something like this. And as you can see, I like to bring already some variety to the shape I'm drawing, because this already helped me see what the drawing will look like. And for the curly hair, we have a high volume, but also some fall off here. This is basically how each of those three types feel like. The straight hair, it will fall with gravity. The afro hair will kind of fight gravity and follow some kind of radial path, because if you pay attention, afro hair, when you tie it together, like in an afro puff or something, you have a shape that resembles a ball or something like that. Depends on the length of the hair and a lot of stuff. And it is just the hair radiating in this pattern here. Anyways, this is usually my thinking process. Straight hair is weaker against gravity, afro hair stronger against gravity, and curly hair is a midterm. Now, some stuff about how the hair behaves that will help a lot here is, first, the direction where you pull in the hair will change the appearance of it. You can see that here on this drawing, we have this flow going to this point that is around the place where the hair is tied. But if I were to change it, let's bring the examples here again. If I were to change the place where this part is, the appearance of the hair in this area of the head would change as well. Let's say I have a low tie here. These shapes are not correct anymore. They have to kind of home in this direction and converge here. Or if I get a higher tying here, then the hair should be pulled in this direction. So this is something that is important for the appearance of the hair. You cannot overlook this, because otherwise it will look weird. It will not make sense. Like the hair is pulled here and we have the shapes going down here. This just feels off, feels disconnected. So you don't want to be doing that. Another thing is that every hair is made out of a million of hair strands, and they can separate and create this division, not only in the middle but in other parts as well. Sometimes those divisions, they are subtle, and sometimes they are kind of obvious. You get this bowed path here, but sometimes it will look something like this, where you just block different volumes into different directions. And this is your hair. You're not seeing any baldness here because the hair is not pulled apart enough. This side is not going off there, and this side is not going off there. But when this pull is strong, then you have something like this here, where the hair is divided. And this brings us to something that is really important. That is how you make the hair look like they are attached to the head. Because one thing is drawing hair that just is in front of the head, so you don't need to worry about it, or here for example. But sometimes the hair is low, or you have these places where you have a transition between head and hair. And I use some simple patterns to solve this problem. So let's bring the body again as an example. There is basically three ways that you separate head from hair. The first one is the long hair pulled back when you have like a ponytail or something, and you have that hair that flows here. You need something to show a separation between head and hair, because if it is too obvious like this, it kind of works, but it doesn't feel right. It feels maybe crude, maybe too cartoony. And what I like to do is two things. One is bringing just lines, this pattern of converging lines where they are close in a point and they separate. So this is something that I do a lot, just bringing hair like this. And the other thing is using these kind of shapes here. They are also good for drawing these patterns. And those two are some that I use a lot. Here I have some of it. Here I have it as well. Here I have it, and here I have it. This is just the separation between natural hair and the head. But there is two others also. They are the haircuts. Usually male figures, you can have a haircut that is like a shaved line between head and hair. And in these cases, I like to use slim, light lines, not strong lines, because these give a sense of depth. They create a separation here, but something that is slim and not too strong. And the other one is the fade. Let's say here we have some hairstyle and we have a fade around this line here. We could totally have just a shaved cut here. This is a style that do exist, but I want a fade. And when I want a fade, I do just a progression of lines that gets lighter as a way to show this change. So I can have this idea of change here. I usually do that a lot on the sides of the head, this area here. You see in my drawings, I'm doing some stuff like this, because this helps to show a transition from skin to hair. I sometimes do it on eyebrows as well, stuff like this. So if you combine all these ways of expressing this change between hair and head, you have those transitions that make a natural flow instead of something blocky and weird. And aside from that, I think the only other two things that I think a lot about hair is the volume. Hair, it either behaves as a paper sheet, where when you bend it, it will overlap upon itself like this. This is basically what I did here. I have a hair bending here, and then I have this overlapping section. And the other thing is that the hair behaves like a bush. So you can have a person with a afro hair, and then you tie it together, and the result of it will be a lot of volume coming close to the same place. And that's my whole thinking process around hair. I hope this doesn't feel too confusing. This is the things that I do when I'm drawing.